In this video, we will showcase the Ionizer from the Japanese company Enagic, the creator and direct manufacturer of the world's leading multi-pH alkaline ionizers. Enagic has been a global leader for 50 years, with over 40 locations worldwide. Enagic is the only company in this sector to have 100% control over its entire manufacturing process. It holds the Original Equipment Manufacturer Certification, OEM, meaning every component of the device is produced in-house. Every part is made at the company's headquarters in Osaka, Japan, including the cardboard packaging. After manufacturing, each device undergoes a rigorous 27-phase inspection before it is approved for shipment to customers. Moreover, Enagic is the only ionizer manufacturer in the world to have received the WQA Gold Seal for the quality of the water it produces. Among its many certifications of excellence, Enagic also holds 3 ISO certifications for quality, environmental management, and the production of medical devices. Internationally, it has installations in healthcare facilities, hotels, restaurants, wellness and beauty centers, pharmacies, gyms, and health sector professionals' offices, not to mention its indispensable use in homes. But why do professors, naturopaths, nutritionists, researchers, athletes, and international athletic trainers own and recommend these exceptional devices? It is no secret that water is the most important nutrient for our well-being, as we are composed of about 70% water. Just as we are increasingly focusing on what we eat in our diets, imagine how essential the choice of one type of water over another is for our body. Now, let's look at the device and why we should not confuse it with a standard purifier or the common filtration systems available in the market. The device requires no plumbing installation, but is simply connected to a home tap from which it draws water. A diverter, with a simple gesture, allows us to switch between tap water and water from the device. The ionizer consists of 2 parts. On the left, we have a 3-layer filter, a mechanical filter, an activated carbon filter, and a calcium sulfite filter. These eliminate chlorine, which is highly toxic to our body, impurities, microsediments, iron, rust, bacteria, and odors. However, unlike simple purifiers or reverse osmosis systems that tend to remove almost all essential minerals, this device uses the minerals. After passing through this filter, the water enters what can be considered the heart of the device, an electrolytic chamber made of 99.99 pure medical-grade titanium plates coated in platinum, which separates alkaline water from acidic water. This process enables us to obtain various types of water. In fact, with a simple touch, we can instantly produce water with different pH level and characteristics. We can dispense alkaline water with pH levels of 8.5, 9, or 9.5. That's the best water for our body as it is alkaline, antioxidant, and super hydrating. Ideal even for enhancing flavors in cooking, improving the cooking process, or even the taste of herbal teas and coffee. Or we can have a water with a pH of 7, a neutral pH ideal for preparing baby food, babies are born alkaline, or for taking medication, only during intake. We can also have a water with a pH of 6, known as the beauty water, increasingly used in the beauty centers and salons, truly unique for its astringent and tonic effects. It can be used for cleaning and skincare, hair, pets, food freezing, polishing and cleaning. It can be used as a toner and skin firming agent simply by putting it in small sprays like this, or even as a fabric softener or hair conditioner. The device also allows us to reach extremely acidic levels, for example pH 2.5, highly effective for its bactericidal and germicidal properties, thus extremely useful for home cleaning, utensil cleaning, as a mouthwash, within every commercial activity, and obviously for our skin, without any addition of chemical additives. And thus we can carry it with us for disinfecting use. Equally precious is the super alkaline water at the pH of 11.5, with the property of being extremely degreasing, as we will see later. Of these different types of water, we will now see the one for our daily needs, the drinking water with pH 9.5, known as Kangen water. A water with three fundamental properties that we will now test. Kangen water, in fact, turns out to be antioxidant, alkalizing, and super hydrating. We will now see the difference between various beverages by measuring the ORP, oxidation reduction potential, which allows us to understand whether a beverage is oxidizing or antioxidant and to what extent. To do this, we will use a laboratory instrument called ORP meter. We must pay attention to the positive or negative sign that this instrument will indicate to us. A positive value will indicate that the beverage is oxidizing. On the contrary, a negative value will indicate that it is antioxidant. This property is extremely important since we are daily subject to oxidative reaction that can produce free radicals. Antioxidants, as we know, help counteract these reactions. For example, as you can see here, freshly squeezed orange juice starts to be antioxidant with an ORP value of minus 50 millivolts. But let's see it on our beverages. Let's start with the soda, a beverage that we know to be very sugary. In fact, the value is positive more than 540. Now, an energy drink, often consumed by athletes. It's very oxidizing, 480. Moving to a natural sparkling water, you can see still oxidizing, 370, still a very highly positive value. Now we move on to still water, still oxidizing, 340. We see now how the tap water also in this case is still value positive, 325 positive. And now we move on to the mountain spring water, same thing, still positive, plus 450. Finally, we go check our Kangen alkaline water with pH 9.5. As you can see, the negative sign indicates that first of all, it is antioxidant. But the value is very high, indicating that it is extremely antioxidant. This is possible thanks to electrolysis system that makes Kangen water rich in molecular hydrogen, the most powerful and natural antioxidant existing in nature, and therefore capable of helping to reduce free radicals and combat oxidative stress responsible for our cellular aging. For this reason, care must be taken not only with the quantity of water that we drink, but also with its quality, as it is a fundamental element for our well-being. We will see in this test the difference in acidity or basicity, which can also be called alkalinity, between the various beverages. As you can see in this diagram, there are many foods that tend to acidify our body, such as meats, cheeses, alcoholic drinks, and to have alkalizing food, we have to go for fruits and vegetables. Unfortunately, most of what we eat is acidic. As we will see, practically everything we drink is acidic. Pollution is acidifying, drugs, electromagnetic waves, pesticides, sedentary life, alcohol, smoking, and even stress are all acidifying agents. And our body is therefore forced every day to counteract this continuous stimulation towards acidification with its buffer systems. But being so overstimulated, our body inevitably becomes ill, and it needs our contribution to support it in this struggle. Let's see the different pH level in the various beverages. To do this, we will use reagent drops commonly used to measure the pH of swimming pools or aquariums. And using the scale that you can see up here, or at the base of this display, you can compare the different pH levels by their colors. We have here a soda, an energy drink, sparkling water, still water, tap water, mountain spring water, and our Kangen water. As we can see, the soda is very acidic, pH level between 3 and 4. The energy drink, more or less the same. The sparkling water has a pH of 5. The still water has a pH between 5 and 6. The tap water should be neutral, pH 7. The mountain spring water as well is neutral. And finally, our Kangen water, which as you can see is the only truly alkaline one with pH 9.5, and as seen before, the only one also antioxidant. Now, let's imagine starting to drink Kangen water to see what can happen to our body acidified by the previous beverages. As you can see, Kangen water helps to alkalize the body, as you can see with the still water. Now, pay close attention to the more acidic waters, like the sparkling water. Pay close attention to the reaction. Can you see? It tries to alkalize, but it can't. Why that? Because it's too acidic. Let's also try it on even more acidic drinks. And in this case, we don't even have a first reaction anymore, because they are very, very, very acidic. Some recent studies tested that to neutralize a single glass of such acidic beverages can require from 8 to 12 liters of Kangen water. Now, we will do a test that will allow us to understand a very important characteristic of Kangen water, which is the fact of being extremely hydrating. Let's see it with this test that we will do using a tea bag. As we typically do, we use tap water for making tea, but we are forced to actually heat it up, because otherwise, as we can see, the water does not manage to extract the tea. Now, let's try instead using Kangen water. Immediately, the tea is extracted. But why? Because Kangen water, being ionized, can more easily penetrate the tea bag and extract the tea. However, it would be logical to think that the tea is extracted because the bag was already wet. So, let's test this theory. We'll remove the residues, and this time we try with tap water. As we can see, the tea continues not to be extracted. Initially, I was skeptical, thinking it was because the tea had already been fully extracted. So let's do another test. Let's try it with Kangen water. Again, removing the residues. And as you can see, the tea is extracted once more. Imagine now that the tea bag represents the wall of our cells. This shows how Kangen water can immediately hydrate them, rapidly diffusing through their membranes and just as easily helping to flush out accumulated toxins. This property is also crucial when taking supplements, which are increasingly part of our diets. If you think about the medium through which we take them is always water. Let's give a look at a test that shows the huge difference when using Kangen water. We will place a few drops of tea in two separate glasses. Let's imagine that these represents the supplements we are advised to take. And let's see what happens to our body when we try to ingest them with, for example, tap water versus Kangen water. As you can see, with tap water, they're completely diluted. But with Kangen water, our body can now use 100% of these supplements or nutrients that we were trying to assimilate into our body. All thanks to the fact that ionization makes Kangen water the best medium for transporting supplements, and also for the immediate bioavailability of the minerals contained within it. Even in these glasses, it might seem like there is no tea, but let's add Kangen water and let's see what happens. Here too, as you can see, the tea was actually present, but simply not extracted, which is what happens when we use nutrients of supplements that are not used effectively, but instead diluted. By adding Kangen water, instead of further dilution, the water becomes colored, using and extracting 100% of the substances inside. As we previously mentioned, the device produces various types of water in addition to the drinking water we just tested. One of these types of water is the super alkaline water with a pH of 11.5, which has a degreasing power without any added chemical additives, unlike every other commercial degreasers. The absence of chemical additives gives us the opportunity to use this water not only as a replacement for the degreasing products we commonly use for cleaning our homes, but also for cleaning food items that are unfortunately rich in pesticides, colorants, and many other impurities. Let's also demonstrate this feature with a test. This time we'll use simple cherry tomatoes, purchased from the local market, labeled as organic, as I read on the label to ensure the best quality. And we'll simulate washing the tomatoes as we usually do with the regular tap water, and for comparison with Kangen water at the pH of 11.5. We'll put the same amount of tomatoes in two different bowls. In the first one, we'll add tap water. In the second bowl, we'll add Kangen water at pH 11.5. We store this water in a black container to maintain the degreasing characteristic of the water, because movement, light, and heat can alter them. Unlike the industrial production of degreasers, where it's necessary to raise the pH by adding chemical additives, inevitably irritating, we will use only water with a high pH, thanks to the electrolysis system, without adding anything. While we wait a few minutes for the tomatoes immersed in the water, let's do another small test that will anticipate the result of the first. We are now going to pour a bit of sesame oil into 2 glasses. In the first one, we'll pour tap water. As we know and expect, the oil and water separate instantly because water normally does not have the capacity to bind to oil and emulsify it. Indeed, to remove oil stains on surfaces or clothes, we need a degreaser. But let's do the same test with Kangen water at pH 11.5. The same water we used before to wash the tomatoes in the second glass. As you can see, the emulsifying effect is immediate. Practically, the particularly high pH of this water allows it to bind the oil and therefore emulsify it. This is why this water can also be used as a degreaser or stain remover, perhaps stored in a spray bottle that we usually use for our home products. But let's go back to our tomatoes and see what happened. I'll use a glass to pour the tap water used to wash the tomatoes. As you can see in this case, the water remained colorless. We can say that it had no effect on the tomatoes. Now let's see what happened with Kangen water at pH 11.5 and pour it into this other glass. As you can see, the result is completely different. You might have already guessed what we have removed. The water turns yellow because of the pesticides we managed to remove. Incredible, right? In fact, pesticides are oil-based, specifically to withstand weather conditions. Imagine that they are applied only once a season, precisely because they have the capacity to remain attached to the fruit without being removed by rain, wind, or other elements. And as you can see, significant precautions are used in their application. They are sprayed from planes or by hand, but with safety protections to avoid even breathing them in. Imagine how harmful it can be to eat them. But when we try to wash them with tap water, we basically have the same effect that rain has on the crops. Basically, none. The same thing happens even if we use baking soda, which will certainly not have this result. However, if we wash them with Kangen water at pH 11.5, we can remove all the pesticides, also rediscovering the true flavor of the fruit we're eating, as pesticides tend to acidify not only our bodies when we eat them, but also the very taste itself. We could add 1,000 of other uses thanks to all these types of water, but to not making it too long, we've shown only a few. Ask for any further information from the person who showed you this video. A piece of advice to avoid the mistake that we often make. If, in your web searches, you come across news or articles that may contradict or cast a bad light on the validity of this type of water, we recommend you to first evaluate the source and the authority of the writer. Naturally, we recommend this type of advice for any topic you might want to explore. Many professionals and experts in this field have written and documented this reality. Rely on professionals, not improvisers. The person who sent you this video will be able to give you further insights.